The PowerPoint. Yeah.
Just reading. I'm just recording it for any student who can't watch in case we say
Yeah.
good. Um,
I'm
anything,
just
anything you're struggling with this week?
no, I haven't gotten into it, just reading through and learning what a hypothesis is. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so
So, quick
yeah.
note on the hypothesis. When you guys write your literature review that's due week 4, you'll
Hmm.
write kind of your each section on that variable, and it will end or culminate with your hypothesis, which is what you are thinking will be happening, the phenomenon you'll see. So, for instance, Charlotte, for yours, it would be something like, spouses of members of the clergy will experience greater stress than spouses of military members, making that up, right? So that's your hypothesis. And by writing it that way, you're already cueing in the reader as to what kind of statistics you'll be reading because you're comparing groups and you're stating one will be larger than the other.
Okay.
So just a little something. And so in the for week 4, it just needs to be like literally one sentence. It could be a bullet point. My hypothesis is this. It does not need to be long-winded. In fact, it
Hmm.
drives me to have a little bit of an eye twitch when I see like a large written paragraph and I have to dig through and they're like, oh, I wrote my hypothesis and I have to go back and go, but where?
Where is it?
Clear and obvious. That makes everyone happy.
Right. I wanted to give you a big kudos though on your video for the data analysis that we did, the cross tabulation. It was
Yeah.
so good. So I couldn't find it on the
Cyber Cafe?
yeah, Cyber Cafe. I said maybe I don't know how to find that on there, but I didn't see it on the Cyber Cafe, but I just went back and looked at the recording from you and Ron as that earlier session from last
Yes.
week, and it was spot on. I mean, it was easy to do.
Good. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm going to share my screen real quick so that you can see where I'm seeing that. Do you see my screen, Charlotte?
Yes.
Okay, don't judge all my tabs. This is a problem.
Well,
I'm aware of it. I'm living through it. So we're just going to move on. Um, you would find Cyber Cafe by going. So for me, it's weird. It's like this. I don't know
the
why
second.
it's like that. And then I go right here to Cyber Cafe.
Okay, in our class.
This is our
Okay, let me see.
class.
Okay, so I'm in the class. See. I don't have discussions tab in our class.
Hmm.
I have messages tab, calendar, roster. I don't have.
Okay. I
I
am
don't know why I
just
don't
gonna
have that.
do, let's see.
But I saw CyberCaf somewhere. Oh, I know where I got on CyberCaf. I looked at JU Doctoral. I think that's where I saw CyberCaf.
Okay. I'm trying to see where,
That's where I saw discussions. And then I went in there and that's how I saw CyberCaf. But I
okay.
don't know why I
I'm
don't
trying
have
to
it in our
see.
actual class.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that there's an eyeball crossed out makes me think that you can't see it. So if you go on the left on dashboard, if you look for our class,
Uh-huh.
you see week 1,
Okay.
week 2, week 3.
Right.
In my grade messages, I have roster, calendar, assignment, test quizzes, announcement. Do you have anything else after that?
Help after announcement. It's help.
Ah, huh. So I need to figure out a way to connect this discussion to something
So that's what I
because
was I was going to ask Ron today, like, because he said he saw it. And I was going to ask him, well, where did he see it at? Because I'm not seeing that.
uh sorry, now like I hate doing this in a meeting to like, let me search, but also I kind of want to make sure. I just
It's okay. I
added
think the
some.
other ones are going to get on at 4:30. Are the other crew going to get on at 4:30?
I don't know.
Lindsay said she lost service. She's getting back in. She's actually driving.
Oh, okay. And I think from what I heard from Jacob, he has class. He's teaching during this time.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know that that'll work for him.
Right.
Okay, I'm gonna make myself a note because I need to ask Dave Evelyn how to make that visible. Make Cyber Cafe. Okay, there's Lindsay.
Did Ron say he was getting in?
Um, whoops. Did that work? There she is. Maybe I can ask Lindsay. Can you hear us, Lindsay?
Okay, yes,
Yay!
it just now came on. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it cut off, but I'm thinking my phone might have problems. I am in the car driving to a meeting. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was literally just right where you are, so no worries. I wanted to check in and see, Lindsay, are you able to see Cyber Cafe as part of our discussion forums? Do you know by chance?
Okay, so let me tell you, it took me a good while to figure it out, and it's because on your screen, I noticed this because at Fuller as a TA, I've done the same thing. It is where we cannot see it as students. On your screen on the left-hand side, I think if you click that button, you can make it visible to students. I had to go through different clicks, like I had to go into the cafe for a different class and then take off some of the letters to get to the other cafe. Anyway, it was, yes. So that's why, Shar, that's why you can't see it, because it is invisible to us in
I
this
don't know how
particular
to
class.
make it visible to everybody, though.
You don't want to make it visible to everyone?
Oh, no, I definitely do. I don't know how because I don't see a settings button for me to click visible. So like when I launch the class, it'll ask me, do you want to make this visible to students? And I say, yes. This has no options for me to do that. I think it's above my pay grade and they control it.
It may be if, let me see your screen real quick.
Yeah. Do you see my screen?
I do.
See that? Yeah, there's no eyeball.
You can't, no eyeball, you can't click it. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's where it is in Canva for Canvas.
For Canvas, it's much easier. I agree. I know how to switch it in Canvas. I know how to switch it in Moodle. Sakai is just its own beast.
Yeah, it is. It's probably worth shooting an email to the tech place, because it's probably just one little button. In the meantime, I can send the link to Shar, but it might be an hour before I get to it.
Right. So how did you see it, Lindsay? You saw it in CyberCaf?
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, Shar. I went to our doctoral class.
Yeah, I saw CyberCaf in there.
Okay, then when you click it, you can go backwards on the little, it shows like cyber cafe for this class. It's kind of like discussion forms for this class, discussion forms for this class week 2, discussion forms for this class week 2, Jacob's post. It's got like layers like that. And so, and those layers are linked. Well, on anything in Sakai. And so you have to, you can go to any cyber cafe and it will show cyber cafe doctoral class or whatever it's called.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sending an email.
That's how I got to it.
Well, that video you sent was fine. I was just thinking for future purposes, if you're putting stuff in there, I won't be able to see it, and I don't know
Yeah.
how to get to that.
Well, I'm sending an email right now to Nicole and David to make sure that that is visible, because that's where I'll drop in those videos for you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, this week it's a little less relevant because we don't have a data analysis assignment. This week there is a quiz for you guys to complete. But next week, if you guys are all able to meet, I would strongly, strongly recommend it, because that data analysis assignment is a bit more of a bear. It requires additional steps. You can't just do the analysis, you have to sort the data. And inevitably, this one ends up being probably one of the tougher data analysis assignments. And I've learned over the years that students will be like, oh, I'll just struggle in the quiet and cry my silent tears and bang head against keyboard. And I'm like, no, raise your hand and ask for help. I want to be able to help you guys. So I would really like to walk you guys through at least how to sort the data so you know how to go about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talking about for week 4.
Yep. Yeah, so if you look at week
the video
4,
you
there's
did
the
with
t-test.
Ron,
Oh, what's that?
I was just saying the video you did with Ron for last week was very helpful, super helpful, because I was pretty confused, and then saw that and I was like, oh, okay, and I could do it real fast.
Good.
So are you suggesting that we get together next week with you, or just us get together and try to figure it out?
Well, I'll be frank, like I don't need to insert myself if you guys feel like you have a good group dynamic. So I don't want to push myself onto you guys, but I'm saying I am willing to do that and sit through with you guys and walk and talk it out, if that's helpful.
I would love that.
Well, yes, and I can hear Ron's voice right now, and he's like interjecting, saying, yes, please. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I feel like I can hear his he does a lot of tapping of his pen when he's
Yeah.
talking. He's got a lot of beats. Yes. He's beating it up, saying, yes, do it. Okay. All right. We will get together then. Does this time, I recognize the 4 o'clock Eastern time is quite challenging for Jacob, because he's like actively teaching during that time. So I want to be mindful of that. Is there a different time that would work best? Or if this is the time, then at least if we record it, I can send it to the group and we can just go from there.
This time is fine for me.
I would say I will be in South Korea next week, so I will only be on I'll just have to watch it.
Okay.
But yeah, if it doesn't work for Jacob, and if we ever do other ones, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays work pretty good for me. I usually can move things around at least to put in a Zoom. Mondays and Wednesdays are tight.
Okay. I mean, I could do next week, Thursday. My only hesitation in saying that is that that's providing help on Thursday when stuff is due like Saturday, Sunday. So I don't know if that's making it like a tighter turnaround. That's my only hesitation.
No, I like early in the week because that just gives me time to understand. And then like you did the video, that was helpful because I could go back. So I remember when I jumped on, I was a little bit later. I didn't hear the beginning part. And so I heard, as we were in the meeting, but then when I went back to the video and I watched the beginning part, that made it very easy for me.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then why don't we just plan on 4 o'clock? That works with my schedule at least on Mondays. And then I can, even if there's only one of you, and I suppose I could record myself talking, that'd be awfully boring. But if no one is here, I can just lecture and show you guys how to do it. But I'd rather it be a discussion. So I'll throw that back on our text chain and see if that works for everyone. And then we'll plan on that.
Right.
Okay. Anything else I can be helpful with while we're all on? Yes.
So go ahead, Glenn.
No, go ahead, Shar, go ahead.
I was just going to say, when we was doing the quizzes, you will see 2 of them for me because I hit one, I just hit the submit and I thought I clicked save and I thought I messed up with it. So I did it again and I
only
did
see
hit
one. So what it'll do is it'll upload whichever latest iteration you did. So I only have
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, okay, I don't know if I totally messed that up or what have you, but yeah.
No, you guys did great. All of you guys did well on the
Okay.
quizzes. Um,
Did mine come through?
it
Did my
did.
quiz come through? Okay.
It did.
Okay.
Yep. So I just need to go back. I think, there's one question that is an open-ended question that I need to add a score to. But aside from that, everybody did great. Yeah, the mean score. Do you guys see your scores or no? Is that why you're asking?
No, it tells us whether we have whatever out of 20, 18 out of 20, 15 out of 20, whatever like that. 20 out of 20.
Yep. So the
So
20
we can just
points,
do them in.
20 is the max you could have earned. So if you got an 18, that means you missed one of the multiple choice. And then there's 3 points that are short answer, bringing it up. So that's what
Mhm.
it's technically out of 23. Yeah. And then you should be able to see, once you've submitted it, what the correct answer is. Did you guys see that? For the multiple
Yes.
choice?
I didn't think I saw that.
Did you see
It
that,
was
Lindsay?
after you hit submit, you had to go back. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
then it would show you, like I missed one, and so it showed me
Which one you
which one I
got?
missed.
Okay.
yeah, maybe I didn't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it allows you to go back in after, but honestly, there's no final exam or anything on this. This is just mostly to keep up with the material.
Right.
So those are on there. And then there is a quiz this week again, a
Mhm.
week 3 quiz. Now, I do want to check in with both of you because something switched with Sakai earlier this year with reflection papers. And some of you guys, your reflection papers are not showing up as being completed. And my assumption is that you have completed them, but there's something wonky going on. Are you guys still doing a check mark when you've completed it?
I do both. I do the check down at the bottom where it says check yes or no. And then I go into assignments and I type in there that I've completed the
Okay, I think that
reflection.
is the way it needs to be done because I think if you only do the check mark, it does not show as complete for me unless there is something written that says I have completed this assignment or something on the assignment tab. Otherwise, it shows up as not completed. So I think this is something wonky with Sakai. I am going under the assumption you guys are doing it. This is going to be helpful for the other two. If they're seeing that, if they're getting a note from me, hey, did you complete your reflection? This will be why. And maybe just changing the method then.
So on that, I've done the same thing that Shar did. Is mine showing that it came through? Maybe you could.
For your reflection?
Yeah, for the reflection. Can you look on your end to
Yep.
see if my reflection?
So I have your reflection for week 2. Let me go back. And I am missing a reflection week 1. But no, I got yours.
Huh.
I got
Okay.
yours. Yep, yours has been graded.
And I can see mine is in there as well. I
Yep,
can see it in my
yours are in
graded
there.
that both of those are in
Okay.
there.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I bet, yeah, one of the guys just clicked it and
Mm-hmm.
didn't write it in, I bet.
Such an easy thing. And I think in the past, if you clicked it, that was good enough. And now they've added kind of that secondary piece where you have to write, I completed the reflection. So,
Right. So
I just want to make sure,
you
Lindsay,
see,
did you have another question?
I do. I
Okay.
do have a question. It has to do with my topic. And I guess, so I still need to send you the bibliography from week 2, which I can do for sure. But I was just kind of confused on narrowing down my topic, like for this class, for this assignment. Like I still want to do something that's in line with my, what I'm hoping to do for the dissertation.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of that, like, I don't know if there is very much data out there. But then you were saying we're not actually using data. Is that right?
Yeah, let me clarify a few things. So we are writing a brief literature review based on the topic of your interest. So my hope is that you guys will have information from your candidacy paper that you can just utilize. So if you're, so for instance, I'm going to talk about Char's topic. She's interested in seeing what is the emotional toll on being the spouse of a clergy member, right? So that could be maybe a qualitative question, like, let me sit down with people and talk about the impact. But if we're going to try to make it a quantitative study, then we could ask something like, what is the level of stress if we were measuring it with a survey for this sample of people, right? I'm looking at a specific group, and how does it compare to a different kind of group? So I can see if there's a significant difference. And now I've used something that is of interest of mine that I've already written about, hopefully, right? Like the emotional impact, and specific on a sample group that I'm interested in. And I've made it fit a quantitative model. So for your bibliography or your reference page, it is just articles that flesh out those variables. It does not, I think I sent that video to you, it does not have to be quantitative studies. It doesn't need to have any data, right? There's no need for that. It just needs to be kind of, this is what we know of this phenomenon, right? So if we're talking about stress, how do we know about stress, right? There's tons of studies that talk about stress and the impact of burnout or trauma response or depression, right? Like we can go in multiple directions. So we would write about that, and we would want articles that fit into that. And so my hope again is you guys have kind of a bibliography you've built through candidacy that you can kind of pick from that fits that. And then you're writing it up as if we were running the study, but we are not, in fact, running it. 7 weeks is way too short. So it's just like a mock proposal. Does that help?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's not going to go, all we have to do is turn in for week 2 was just the reference sheet. That's it. And then we'll do that other piece in week 4, Lens.
Correct.
Okay.
So if by week 4, you've realized, you know what, 3 of the studies that I listed on my reference page in week 2, I didn't end up using, totally fine. I am creating these weekly assignments for you to send to me as almost like markers as you're climbing up the mountain, right? Like, okay, I've gotten to this, which will make getting to the next step a little easier. So I'm not saying, okay, week 4, submit this literature review, and it just feels like this insurmountable project. So that's why it's broken up into pieces.
Right.
Okay. And then so the literature review needs to be on articles, not a book. Is that correct?
It could be either. That I don't have I think generally you will find that people will want you to use articles rather than books because they're usually more recent, they're peer reviewed, whereas in a book, someone could decide to publish about how the sky is purple and all of us are wrong, right?
Right. Okay. So my that I wrote about for my candidacy paper was the theory of reconciliation. And
you're
so
breaking up a little bit, Lindsay, so I'm just trying to see the theory of reciprocity. What did you say?
Okay.
The theory of reciprocity.
No, reconciliation.
Reconciliation, okay?
No, reconciliation. Yep, reconciliation. So
I need you to go upstairs.
and then I took that, how do you apply that into Middle Eastern culture, mainly with the war and everything going on. And so there's the other main source is a Palestinian or Lebanese, I can't remember. Anyway, she was one of Wolf's students. She is a professor. She has her doctorate over there, and she studied that theory, applying it to her context.
Okay.
But she focused on churches, Baptist churches. And so what I was doing in my candidacy paper was applying it to parachurches and not just Baptist churches. And so I used a third reference to kind of pull that in. Is that too far-fetched? Like I'm having trouble figuring out how to make that work.
I would say for this class, this is absolutely okay. That is totally fine. If you're building your dissertation off of that, we probably would want it to be buttressed by some stronger, maybe more related sources. But then again, maybe you wouldn't be doing quantitative either. So like, right, it just kind of depends. But I think for the purpose of this class, this is totally fine. We just want
Okay.
The goal in terms of pedagogy from the Johnson faculty is to have you all experience what it's like to start from step one to proposal of a quantitative project, so that you've at least been shown how to do it, so that if that's the path you choose for your dissertation, or in the future, when you're an amazing, doctoral, person that's out there doing research, that you know the steps to go through. That's the goal. So we are not looking for each of you to run your own study. That's well beyond the scope of time and resources, right? That just wouldn't work. The goal is to gain familiarity with the process. So
Okay.
because of that, it's looser. We can be broader. This is the kind of class where if people are like, oh, I would totally do like a longitudinal study, I'm like, have at it. It's fine. Whereas if you were coming to me for your dissertation, you're like, I'd like to do a 10-year longitudinal study. I would tell you, no, you want to be out of here. You're spending a lot of dollars for this degree. Like, we need to pick something shorter, right? So for the purpose of this class, totally fine.
Okay. Okay. That is helpful. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, and I think that's a piece about, you had questions about that too, like how do I analyze data and how do I get data? And it is kind of a weird thing that we're doing it as just a proposal, but I don't know how else to do this short of just a mock project, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I think this is a very helpful format, especially being able to reuse. This is very helpful because
Okay.
I feel like at the end of this course, I will still have my mind in what I really am passionate about, but I've been able to try to figure out how to, tweak it a little bit and know the steps that are needed in order to do a quantitative analysis if when the time comes,
Exactly.
which I would love to do.
Well, Lindsay, that just filled my bucket because that's exactly the goal, right? Is for my
Okay.
hope is as you guys go through this and you're still thinking about your project, but you're kind of forced to have to think about it in quantitative terms. Sometimes something new pops up or a new idea, and then you go and run with it. Even if you end up in qualitative, right? There's benefit that can come of it. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome.
How about you, Shar? Did you have another
Okay.
question?
Thank you.
Now, I was just going to ask in the grade book, I don't see on the list, I don't see quiz for week 2 in there. I see quiz for week 3, week 5, week 6, but I don't see quiz 2
Hmm.
in mine. That's what made me ask you that question. Like, did I mess something up by submitting it that twice? But I don't know. I'll just wait until you grade it and then maybe it'll get in here. But as of
Well,
right now, I don't see a line item for it.
this is confusing because they are graded.
That's the
Oh,
same on mine. That's why I asked if you had received my quiz. Because I can see the grade, but there is no, like, it's not in the same place in assignments as the others. And I couldn't click
right,
the link to hit like renew or restart or whatever.
right.
Okay,
But I
so
mean, once
we're
we
gonna
found
add
it, it
that to
worked.
the problem list. I'm gonna just send it to Dave and Nicole again. It is just astounding to me because they're supposed to just copy the shell from the last time the class was taught, and I teach this class twice a year, right? Which means I taught this in May and we didn't have this problem. But there's so many Sakai updates. Like, again, I'm not blaming them. I just think this is I am glad I'm not working in the technology of Sakai and I'm only interacting with it on that end. Okay. Another point, quiz 2 is not in gradebook. Okay, we're gonna get that fixed. All right, anything else?
I'm running into a meeting, so I'm gonna have to jump off.
Okay, sounds good. Where did you get? Okay. It was good to meet you in person finally, Lindsay. I'm glad to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. I'll upload this and send it to everyone.
Okay.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, Shar.
And I'm going to be going out of town. This is a busy end of the month. It's gonna these last few weeks. but I'm still going to be doing my stuff. I'll still keep up with everything. I just take I take everything with me because I can't get off track. Once I get in the rhythm, I have to keep getting into the rhythm.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything will still be fine. I will continue to keep up with everything. So
Sounds good.
hopefully I won't get on a meeting. But as I get down in the first week of, let me look at my calendar. If we have any of these Zoom meetings, I will have to just watch the video. So the last week in this month and the first week in October, that whole entire week, I'll be gone. So starting from the 29th
Okay.
through the 7th, I will be out of town. I'll be in some trainings.
Okay.
And so while I'll still do my work, I probably would not be able to get on this meeting. If you do a meeting on that Monday, I probably won't be able to do that, but I'll be able to do everything else.
Well, that's very fair. And I may do a meeting on the 30th. I probably will not do a meeting on the 7th, only because my birthday is the 6th. And I might do a treat yourself day and go and get a massage. So we'll just have to see. I probably could make it work later in the evening. But yeah, we'll keep that in mind then.
Okay, but I will watch the video. So please record because I'll get on there and make sure I watch the videos for it.
I will. I'll not upload this one right away.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, we'll see you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.